All right, let's get to it. First thing we're going to do is trade of the day here on the S&P 500 futures. Then we'll get to the daily chart and do the rest of the products. Don't forget, for members, the premium symbols are in the premium symbols channel on the Discord server, which is accessible only to members. If you want to become a member, stick around to the end of the video and I'll tell you how to do that. Those symbols have been pretty doggone good, guys. I've been using them and making some good trades and making some nice bank. Now, I'm not saying every time's been perfect, but for the most part, it's been pretty good. There's the in the premium symbols channel on the Discord server, there's futures long and futures short. So take a good look at them. Of course, you got to vet them, still look at the charts, do your due diligence. But yeah, there's some really good symbols in there. The logic that I worked up to pull those symbols has been working pretty good. All right, let's get started here on trade of the day. Do we have a trade of the day? Let's get the Get Us Plus indicator turned on to help us out with that. Yeah, wow. So, excuse me, what we're looking at here is the entire 23-hour period, because futures trade 23 out of 24 hours a day. So this is the 23-hour period left to right. Obviously, this was last night about 5 o'clock p.m. And this is all the way through the night, and Asian and London markets do their trading. And then, of course, we get into intraday stuff over here, okay, for the U.S. So let's talk about this. Let me look at the 15-minute chart. By the way, this chart is streamed live to the members, and so is the 15-minute chart and the 1-hour chart. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. See, sometimes you got to look. That's why I always look at multiple time frames. I talk about this all the time. You need to look at multiple time frames. Don't get stuck on a 2-minute chart, a 5-minute chart, this chart or that chart. No. You have to use all different time frames to get a feel for what the market's doing, okay? So look at this right here. This was really kind of the Asian pre-London market time frame last night, 2 a.m. I'm going to talk about this trade because it's actually a pretty good trade here on the 15-minute chart. Then we'll look at the 5-minute chart for some other trades. But this trade's pretty good. So right there at 2 o'clock in the morning, what made it so good? Why is this trade so good? Well, it's good because momentum's going negative, right? You can see the momentum starting to cross over and go negative right about here, same time that the alert comes up, okay? And the SMI is about right there at that point, like halfway down. Perfect entry. You could, in this case, you could enter exactly at the end of that 15-minute candlestick. When the 15-minute was up, this alert was probably popping on and off through that 15 minutes. When the candlestick ended and the 15-minute alert and the Get Us Plus indicator was still sitting there, just make the trade instantly. This is perfect. And bam, you can ride it all the way down to the bottom here. Probably realistically somewhere in that area right there, about 25. We'll call it 26. Okay, so maybe you get in around 33 to 26, 7 points. Probably pretty safe, about 7 points right there. Guys, gals, that's $350 for one contract. Nice. Okay, so that was overnight. Nice trade right there. Let's look at the 5-minute chart. Okay, this one we're going to look at. It should be obvious where there's a couple places where there's trades, but there's one that really stands out here, and that's this one right here that happened at 10 minutes after 9:10 a.m. This is a really good trade. This is a smoking hot trade. Okay, it's to the short side. Sometimes the trades are going to be long, sometimes they're going to be short. With futures, it makes no difference. You can trade either direction. So 10 minutes after 9 o'clock in the morning, boom, Get Us Plus indicator comes up and says, hey, I think there's a trade here. Let's talk about it. This is a really good trade. Right here, first of all, we're going to always look at momentum, number one. Then we look at the SMI, number two. So the Get Us Plus indicator says, hey, I think there's a trade. Pay attention. So we immediately go to momentum. And where are we at? Momentum's crossing over negative. It's going negative. Beautiful. Even right there at that moment, you can see this huge gap, right? Sometimes momentum's going to be a little bit shaky, and other times it's going to be super clear. This is super clear. Look at this gap. See this gap going on? That means momentum is strong. Momentum is strongly moving in that direction, down. Okay, when it's super tight, like back over here, in this case, we already know it's negative momentum, But if it's super tight and crossing over, that's a little bit harder. Okay. But in this case, it wasn't tight at all. It's super loose. And that means, wow, this is super negative. Momentum is negative. Okay. And guess what? It comes in about right here. Now, there's a couple ways you could do this. You could take that trade immediately, right at the end of the 5-minute candlestick. As soon as it ended, you could take it immediately and ride it all the way down here. Okay, so you'd get this maybe to about right in this area. That's one way you could trade this. So that's 25 to about, they'll call it 18. That's, what do you know, 7 points again. Okay, well, that's that trade. The other one you could trade, and this is the way I normally trade it, is you wait for the bounce on the SMI. You can see it's super negative. And you wait for the bounce, and it doesn't go anywhere. Like, it doesn't get anywhere near this top line. It just totally falls flat on its face and tracks sideways. Boom, you're in. As soon as you see it's kind of curling over like that. So that puts you somewhere right in this area. We'll call it 60-15, right? And it does a little bounce, but it trades all the way down to basically 60.05. That's 10 points. Okay. Truth be told, both those trades are fine. You could actually do both of them. Okay. So that's 17 points. Really, really nice. All right. This trade over here is actually kind of tricky. This is the Gibbs Plus indicator saying, hey, there's a trade here. Momentum is positive right here. Okay, it falls, it starts to come up. I would have taken the trade right there, which puts us about right here. But boy, oh boy, it started to roll back over. This is about a break-even trade, guys. You're not going to make any money there. That's going to happen sometimes. You know, the market's suggesting that it's going to get bullish, and then it tricks everybody out and starts to roll over. As soon as it started rolling over, and you know, the way you know that to get out of that trade is because look what it did. It barely got up here, right? It didn't get up here like this above. You follow me? It didn't do one of these deals. It's like barely getting in line and fails. Oh, exit. Like in a hurry. Just get out. It's probably about break even in here. So that's going to happen sometimes. You're going to make trades and it isn't always going to be perfect. But you know what? I'll take the 17 points and a break even, no problem. Those are the trades of the day. Let's move on to the rest of the products. Let's look at the Dow Jones Transportation. Pretty much been on fire lately. Last couple days have been tracking sideways here, and it could be pulling back a little bit into this December 10th timeframe, which is about 13, 14 days away, whatever it is. So a little pause here in the Dow Jones Transportation. Okay, so if you're trading transportation ETFs or whatever you're doing, it's good to look at the Dow Jones Transportation because they're all basically tracking the Dow Jones. That's what's going on. Okay, this is shipping, freighting, trucks, all of it includes transportation. Locomotive probably is included in that as well. Cargo ships, all that stuff. All right, let's look at the Russell 2000. What is happening here? Same thing as, it's interesting when I watch the Dow Jones Transportation and the Russell 2000, you'd be surprised. They often track each other. That's strange, right? The Russell 2000 and the Dow Jones Transportation, lately anyway, for like the last few months, they've been very, very similar. Okay, so transportation makes up a lot of the marketplace, guys. That's why I check it. Okay, and it's not just tech. Okay, the tech, everybody's caught up in tech. There's more to the market than just tech, so be aware of that. So Russell 2000, same thing as Dow Jones Transportation. Looks like it's just tracking sideways. Let's get the daily cycles up here. December 9th, we always saw December 12th, I think, on the Dow Jones. Okay. So, similar time frames here for their cycles, right? And another one out there on December 26th. Just tracking sideways. This looks, even though it's super bullish, the market's super bullish here, right? The SMI is kind of weak up here, right? It's not way up in this area like this. So we're going to keep an eye on this thing to see, because if it rolls over like this, guys and gals, that's, a little bit of weakness within the context of a bullish market. So keep an eye on that. Okay, let's look at the NASDAQ, which has been kind of struggling. Yeah, see, the NASDAQ, the natty DAQ just ain't got it. I've been talking about this last few days. NASDAQ just kind of creeping up, but also tracking sideways. Guys, I don't like it as a trade. I'm not a big fan of the NASDAQ right now. Looks like it's on the struggle bus. Looks like it wants to curl over here. You know, I wouldn't short it because you got positive momentum. But man, it's just not doing well. December 12th is right here. Very familiar cycle low for a lot of the products. I wouldn't touch the NASDAQ. There are other trades that are better. It just looks like it's really struggling here. On the struggle bus, SPX. Definitely stronger. See how much stronger it is? SPX stronger. Stronger than the Russell 2000, stronger than the NASDAQ. SP 500 looks really good here. Yeah, couple days here looking like it's kind of pausing. Okay, let's get the daily chart up here for the daily cycles. December 15th. Again, first and second week of December. Looks like some cycle lows. And we'll see what happens there. I don't know if this cycle low is really going to mean much. That should be blue, I guess. I don't think this cycle low is going to be that big of a deal, to be honest. I just don't see it happening. There's a lot of strength in the market right now. You can see down here, this never even got to the bottom. Super strong momentum. It may pull back here a little bit. I just don't think you're going to get a big decline here going into the middle of December. Doesn't look like it to me. Could surprise us, but at the moment, the market looks super bullish and maybe a little pullback. And I think it's going to be marching on. I'm telling you, the Trump train it's alive, man. And the American economy and the American people, they are excited about the future of America. I'm telling you right now. There is an excitement in the air. I don't care what the left says, because we had people on the left and moderates and conservatives all voted for Donald Trump. Don't forget it. It wasn't just conservatives that put him in the White House, guys. Drinking a little coffee here. Okay, let's move on to the Nike 225. And it reminds me of the NASDAQ. It just does. It's kind of even worse than NASDAQ. Kind of doing this. Okay, and look at this. Get us plus indicator on the daily chart. That doesn't happen too often. We've gone negative momentum on the Nike 225. I tell you what, I think the Nike 225 is a short right now. So if you want to trade that product, go for it. I don't know if there's a micro to this product. I don't think there is, but if there is, because this is super expensive at $16,740, a micro would be like $1,600, maybe a little more. I'll check to see if it exists. I don't think it does, but this product looks like it's ready to be traded to the short side, to me, in my opinion. Okay, let's look at the Japanese yen. Yeah, the yen's been on a little bit of a run here. It's got some bullish tendencies going on. That's pretty good. Momentum is still negative, but it's really trying to get positive. If this momentum gets positive, that's going to change things. Okay, my guess is right now the U.S. dollar is suffering. It's pulling back because anytime we see the yen going up, the dollar usually pulls back. Okay, so yeah, momentum is still negative. I wouldn't trade it yet. I don't like it as a trade. I want to see positive momentum. Okay, let's say it goes positive. Right, let's say this thing gets up here and gets positive. I don't know if it will because it may not make it that far. But if it does, we're obviously going to get some kind of cycle here, some kind of drop, right? And if it's positive at that point as it turns up, and this is sitting in positive territory, I'd go long on it, on the yen. But for right now, I'd leave it alone. It's not a trade in my opinion. Let's look at the euro dollar futures. Let's get over to the daily cycles here. Yeah, it looks like the cycle may have to be modified. When I get a chance, I'll take a look at it. Right now, I'm just going to leave it alone. 80 degrees today here in Texas, guys. Beautiful day. Tomorrow's supposed to be kind of cold, but for Thanksgiving. But today, it was a beautiful day. I was out in the garage. Got myself a skeleton pendulum weighted clock that just came in from Amazon and mounted it in a little frame. I'll do a video on that later. It's pretty cool. Made a skeleton frame for a skeleton clock. Pretty awesome. Old school pendulum clock. Love it. Euro dollar. Yeah, trying to make a run. Reminds me a little bit of the Japanese yen, but this one is worse than the Japanese yen. The momentum is much, much worse than the Japanese yen. So I just don't think this is going to make it for right now. I think we're going to get up here. It's going to roll over. Momentum gets going. Going to fail probably, even if it gets up here like this, whatever. This is going to require a lot of work to repair this momentum damage. I've seen strange things happen, though. It could happen. We'll see if it gets the cycle, whatever, and this, and it's not touching the bottoms like that, then this could, just could make its way up there. But for now, it's definitely struggling. This is not a product. As a matter of fact, I'd be inclined to short this on the next pullback on the SMI. Okay, 6B. Yep, crossing over here, a little bit of green creeping in. Same thing as the euro dollar. It is crossing over, but it's super negative. I'd be looking for a short side trade, maybe. Got to watch these things once they get rolling. Sometimes momentum really takes off. But if it gets up here, same thing as we just saw on the euro, and it fails like that, it starts failing, and this is pulling back and doing one of these deals, I'd trade it. Okay? If it gets all the way up here really strong, like these kind of things, then that could eventually make momentum go positive. Okay? But if it's failing like there and there, which doesn't look like it's going to, looks like it's going to get up here and at least get above that line. So that has a lot to do with whether you think about this short or long. Right now, it's definitely not a long, not with that much negative momentum. And it may even be a short again, depending on what the SMI does. Okay. Let's look at gold and silver. I said the last couple of days I thought gold was a short. I still think it's a short. I mean, gold is amazing. It's very resilient. So you got to be super careful with gold. It could do one of these deals. Excuse me. Momentum is still negative. Is it a short? Oh, man, that is a great question. It looks like it's struggling to me. But gold is one of those products you got to really watch it. Yeah, I still think it's a short, but I would have risk management like tight. I'd be watching that risk management. I really thought this was going to pull back a little bit more. It's been tracking sideways here. So, we can look at the weekly. I don't normally look at the weekly. Let's look at the weekly just real quick here. What do we got going on here? Yeah, see, that is not, it's super, super bullish, right? Weekly chart, super bullish. But guess what? It got a little bit of red. It crossed over right here. And this looks like it wants to do this. So, could it do this? Come down, go back up? Yeah, it could. But, See how it crossed over here? But it made the old bouncy bounce. The momentum stayed super strong. This product is so strong on the weekly chart. It's crazy. But that crossover is pretty aggressive right there. Kind of reminds me of over here. So I think gold could probably pull back just a little bit. It's probably going to pull back a little bit on that daily chart. I don't know what this is doing. What the heck? Like this thing is, oh, okay, never mind, duh. Okay, so this December 24th, is that still valid? Let's see if it's still valid. It's the 25th, it's on Christmas Day. We'll just keep the 24th, it's fine. Yeah, my thoughts on gold is it'll probably pull back, but man, you got to watch your risk management on that product. Okay, silver is worse. Silver is in worse condition than gold. It definitely has that trade me short look. So I like silver. Actually, silver is a stronger trade. Now people say, "What are you talking about? Stronger? Doesn't that mean long?" Okay, guys, I'm a trader. I don't think long, strong, short, weak. We talk like that just because people like to hear that kind of talk. The fact is, this is a strong trade, but it's a short. It's a strong trade short. It's probably what this silver is going to do. I like it for a short side trade. This is a strong trade. Okay, there's a little bit of confidence here that this is going to pull back more. I like silver. Okay, I think, you know what, there's not really a micro silver. That's a little bit bothersome. They have this 1,000 ounce silver, which is the one I track, but there's no micro that I'm aware of. I wish they had a micro. Like you can't get one of these, right? There's no such thing. I think SI isn't SI just silver? Yeah. They should have an MSI, right? But it doesn't exist. Because they just say, oh, we can't have an MSI when there's already an SIL because it's been around forever and a day. But the margin on it is crazy. $2,700, $2,800. So not a big fan of the margin requirements, unfortunately. But yeah, I think the 1,000 ounce is the cheapest silver. I think I'll look on the CME site to see if there's something else, but I don't think there is. There may be a 50 ounce. There may be a 50 ounce silver, or is that gold that does the 50 ounce? I'll take a look. But in any case, I like this for a short side trade. Okay, let's look at crude oil. I said crude oil was a short side trade the other day. I still think it is. Yes, kind of tracking sideways. But look at these lower wicks. Right? That means there's opportunity throughout the day. It pulls down the bottom. It bounces back up. Guess what? You can time that. It's probably going to do the same thing today. This is tracking just sideways, trying to get up there a little bit, but just basically tracking sideways. I think there's a little bit more than this. I think crude oil is going to come down. November 27th was a cycle low, so you got to be super careful. It could bounce out of here. Okay, so, just be cautious about that this cycle low that's apparently there. There's apparently a cycle low there, but it's not, it is there. So that could be a cycle low right there. So be careful about that. You could get a bounce in crude oil. So you got two things going on. They have a very negative look. Not very negative, but somewhat negative. Momentum is just below the zero line. It looks like this wants to finish, but cycle lows right there, I'd be cautious with crude oil. I give it a little time to see what it's going to do coming out of that cycle. Let's take a look. I guess we're looking at corn here. Corn has positive momentum, but a temporary bias to pulling back. What's interesting about this is this was the cycle low on the 25th. You can see corn just actually went up a little bit, kind of tracking sideways. So this cycle low was nothing. And even though the SMI is pulling back, momentum is strong enough to keep it tracking sideways. See, isn't that interesting? When you got momentum that's positive, intermittent or short-term momentum, like on the SMI, it's not enough to bring the price down. It just tracks sideways. So guess what? I think this is going to get bullish. There's a lot of red right here right now, but the price hasn't declined. It's just sitting right around 40.20 to 40.30. So I think you're going to see some bullish activity coming out of this cycle low here in the next week or two or whatever. Looks like corn wants to go bullish. We'll keep an eye on it. Take a look at wheat. New contract on wheat there. Negative momentum. Wow. I actually made some money right here on this going short. Right now, boy, oh boy, SMI going up, momentum negative. Just can't touch it. Don't touch it. I wouldn't touch it yet. I'll wait to see what this SMI is going to do. It needs to run its course. It just hasn't run its course. I don't have any daily cycles there, so. Okay. Let's look at XLP. Finish up the video with this. Daily cycle. All right, get out of there, you stupid thing. Daily cycle. November 25th was a daily cycle. That was 2 days ago. It looks like it came here on November 20th instead. 5 days early. Looks like the cycles could be reworked here on this product. They're not looking very good. Let's see if we can do that right now. Let's see. And there's definitely a cycle low there, right? See, that makes sense to me. That cycle makes sense, which means this cycle was probably never really legit in the first place. Okay. Yeah, this is much better. Not so much there, but there. Yeah, this looks good here, here is okay. That one's kind of okay right there. So I'm okay with that. It's got to be put as what, end of December? Yeah, it's second week of December. What do you know? All these products are like second week of December. So this is December 9th. A lot of products showing a cycle low for December. First and second week of December, guys. Okay. Pretty strong. Momentum's trying to go positive here. Just about to go positive. Dippy do, and if it doesn't come to the bottom, boom, trade it long. You can use your options to trade that long if that happens. That is it. Become a member, $7.99 a month. The link is in the description. Talk to you all real soon again next time.